because I really, to this day, couldn't care less about stand-up. I always wanted to be an actor. That's how I saw the career
Which you're
going.
amazing at.
You know.
And you've always been amazing at acting.
I always say capable at that, because if
What was that dramatic series that you were on NBC?
Crime Story.
Crime Story. You were amazing on that. That was a serious, dramatic.
That was a gangster show.
Right.
That Martin Scorsese, I always tell this story. This is great. So I do this series. It's Michael Mann after he did Miami Vice.
Right.
And I forgot about it because I auditioned 5 months before I ever got the part. Bonnie Timmerman, who was one of the biggest casting agents in Hollywood, put me on tape. And after 2-3 days, you don't hear something, you forget about it, So 5 months later, I'm visiting Brooklyn, from Hollywood, and my mother's waking me up going, your agent keeps calling. You gotta call back. And I go, no, they're gonna bother me with the Bruce Willis. I was supposed to do Bruce Willis's first movie, Blind Date. Very small part. It was basically dancing and talking like Travolta in a club scene. But I was also playing, it was Memorial Day weekend, and I was booked to do Rascals Comedy Club in West Orange. And I was a big draw there, and it was a big club, and it's 425 seats. And they got basically 6 shows sold out for me. And this is before the career took off.
Right.
Okay. So I was loyal to the club, and I was supposed to film after that weekend and go to Hollywood on Monday. But they called and said, we need you Friday. So I said, I can't do it. I can't disappoint these people. And, the club's going to lose just thousands and thousands of dollars. So I blew off the movie to do the club. The next day, which is Friday, my mother's waking me up to the agents keep calling. I go, Ma, they're going to bother me with the Bruce Willis thing. I'm not doing it. She goes, well, at least call back. So, my mother was like me. She smoked 120s. I smoke cigarettes. I haven't smoked in like 6 years. I just hold them.
What are 120s? I don't know what that is.
Like longer cigarettes.
Okay.
My mother's where I got the Dice attitude, believe it or not.
I didn't know why, when I listen to you and watch you, I always think, oh, this is like an older Jewish woman.
No. But yeah, that's where I got the attitude,
Well, she's a New Yorker through and through.
I knew
your parents.
Number one, she looked like Liz Taylor.
She's a beautiful lady, yes.
So when she would come up to destroy a teacher of mine for saying the wrong thing to me, she'd come in wearing the fur coat, the hair black, blown out, the cigarette lit in those days. It was crazy.
What, she went to your school and reamed the teacher?
All right, I don't want to lose.
Okay, finish
don't want to lose track.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I called the agent. I'm having coffee with my mother. I'm not doing the Bruce Willis thing. I'm doing the club. I call the agent, and my mother sees this look come over my face as I'm talking to the agent, because what the agent's telling me is you were just hired for 5 seasons of Michael Mann's new show, Crime Story.
Right.
Huge.
Huge.
And they're telling me, every year the bumps in the money I'm going to get. And I can't believe, I just got a series. I can't even believe, and you got to fly out after your show Sunday night, go to Chicago to be in the 2-hour movie, because it was a 2-hour movie, and then they would do the episodes. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it, because this is Michael Mann. This is Miami Vice,
Which was a big hit show at the time, and Michael Mann became a huge
movie director, right? Yeah.
He's
Michael Mann used to sit. What he loved?
What's his most famous movies, just for the listeners?
Well, just one of the most commercial would be Ali,
okay.
The Will Smith Ali movie,
right.
which is unreal.
Right.
He lasted the Mohegans, Heat,
right.
With Pacino and De Niro. I mean, just one of the greatest. I nearly had the Sizemore part in Heat, because Michael Mann loved me as an actor. Okay, but this is the joke of Crime Story. Now, just so you know, Scorsese took Crime Story. When he saw Crime Story, and he did the movie Casino after that, because Crime Story was a real story about those criminals, like the De Niro and Pesci. I was the De Niro character in Crime Story.
Yeah.
And Tony Dennison, who played Ray Luca, was the Pesci character in Casino. But the reason he did the movie, it was a real story.
Right.
Only in the movie, he didn't have the cops, chasing the gangsters like he did in Crime Story.
Right.
That's why it was a period piece set in the 60s and 70s.
Did you enjoy it? Was that a good...
I was so thrilled to get that part. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it.
And do you think that was the big launch for you?
Well, no. What happened was, this is what's funny. Now, let's say it was this day and age and they put Crime Story on HBO. It would have lasted like The Sopranos lasted. But it was one of those shows, it's like, have you seen this? It was like either ABC or NBC.
NBC.
So nobody really catapulted. And you had guys on there like David Caruso. Everybody from that show took off. Kevin Spacey, all these, Michael Madsen, Dennis Farina, Bill Smitchovich, all these great actors and actresses.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know who Bill Smitchovich is.
Well, he wound up with his own show after that, a 1-hour drama. Yeah, so many great actors. Like if you look,
no, but it was great. It was just it was a very classy, well acted, well directed, well written show, which was a surprise because we, being in the comedy community, knew you as an impressionist and as a singer and as a comedian.
And the only reason I did that, Howie, was instead of going to acting school once a week, I figured be on a club stage every night and develop my own method of acting. That's why I did stand-up. And that's why I walked away from the impressions and started doing a Dice-like character when I was 23.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I couldn't care less. You could quiz me about the history of comedy. I go, I don't know who that is.